Hello everybody, it's Gaming Ninja from Gargoyle Gaming, and today we're going to be talking about scrapped content, but specifically scrapped content from Prodigy. Now this isn't just going to be scrapped content, I'm also going to be talking about deleted content. That would include deleted pets, pets that were scrapped, islands that were deleted. So yeah, let's get into this video now. For the scrapped pets, since there are no playable builds with any scrapped pets, I'm gonna have to, look up videos on YouTube. So I will credit the YouTubers in the description that I'm getting the footage from. So let's get started. Turn the volume a little bit. Oops.
Prodigy almost added these insane epics. Back when Prodigy was just coming up with the concept of epic toys, they put a survey in Prodigy asking which toys people would want Prodigy to make. Some of these were toys that never would have been epics, like Mirror Shade, New, and Buck. There were also some that could have actually been epics. Now, only 2 of these actually made it into the game, those being Chill and Char and Titus. As for the others, they never made it into the game, and you probably haven't seen most of them. Off with the Earth types, there was this epic, which would have been this furry pet, which had tree stumps as legs. There also would have been this epic, which I think looked pretty odd. There was also going to be a concept for an Earth pony, but we kind of got this with this style anyways. The final Earth epic would have been this tree stump, which sort of looks like the old Mandrake icon. Moving on to the fire pets, there would have been this epic that sort of looks like a volcano. There also would have been a 3-tailed purple and yellow lizard, along with this teddy bear epic, which I don't think would have fit into the game very well. The other fire pet was Chill and Char, which, as we know, made it into the game. Moving on to the ice pets, there was an option for this ice troll or this purple triceratops with icicles. There also could have been this white dragon, which I really wish made it into the game. The other ice pet was this king ghost, which I have never seen before, even though I've pretty much seen all of these other ones. Moving on to the storm epics, there could have been this storm elephant, which is probably one of the more well-known unreleased.
Wait, I remember this guy. I remember back then, Prodigy. This is one of the back then when Prodigy first released his epics, they did like a survey, and this was one of the characters they let you vote from.
Epics. There was also this bat thing, which looks super weird, and this electric deer, which looks.
I don't remember seeing the deer at all.
The final storm epic that could be voted for was this storm dragon, which looks sort of like Solar.
Oh, he looks cool.
This one looks super cool.
It's crazy they scrapped him.
Water pets, we could have gotten another water unicorn, although we did end up getting Misty, which looks similar. Also an option for this maybe epic, and the reason I say maybe is because this looks a lot like Jelly Gems, so maybe they just didn't have enough ideas for water epics. The next water epic that could be voted for was this flower, which would have...
Dude, it's like they didn't have any ideas for water epics.
The final option was for Titus, which of course was added to the game. Overall, a lot of these don't look great, but a few of them do look pretty cool, so it's pretty interesting that...
So those are the scrapped epics. Now for the scrapped pets.
Prodigy almost added these insane pets. There are almost 200 pets in Prodigy, but there are also a handful that will never be added to the game. Some of these pets include this evolution of Embershed, which looks absolutely insane. This one would have meant that we had to get rid of 2 pets, but who cares, because these 2 look a lot.
Those guys look pretty cool.
This evolution of a Voltus, which looks amazing.
I wouldn't be surprised if this version of Evolutus, which looks like it would have been the 3rd stage had it been added, I wouldn't be surprised if the redesigns took influence from this. Because the fact that Evoltus used to be like a dragonfly. But then when they redesigned him, he looked more like a snake. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the redesign for Prodraxis took inspiration from this scrapped design. It's crazy that this design didn't make it in. It's just crazy to think about. It makes me wonder how big this monster would have been, because the biggest pet in Prodigy is Fathom. It makes me wonder if this guy would have been a lot bigger. But let's get back to watching this.
It's going to be a purple ember shed, which I really like, along with a griffin. There was this dragon, which probably would have been an evolution of Tarragon, and
I can see why this guy didn't get added. If he was really an evolution of Tarragon, which is hard to tell, but he does kind of look like Tarragon. If they did, add him and he was an evolution of Tarragon, I feel like the reason they ended up scrapping him was the fact that Pico wouldn't have had a fourth stage. Same with what's his name, Sorrel and Kreela. They didn't have 4 stages, so I feel like Prodigy did this because it would be unfair to the people who chose, the other 3. Because if they would have given Dragic a 4th stage, it would have been unfair to the other people who chose the other starter pets. So that's probably why they didn't go with this design. Not just that, but Dragic would likely stick out like a sore thumb compared to the rest of them. So that's probably why they scrapped this. I can see why they scrapped this design. I meant to say evolution. But yeah, let's get back to this.
I have no idea why they didn't add this. There's this evolution of Squibble, which looks much better than what we have now. And then there's this really big dragon, which I would have loved to see in the game. Some of these pets were actually added, such as this, which was called Coral Queen.
Dude, this pet was really added later on? I do not remember this pet ever being added. Maybe this is the pet that would later become Aqua Mermina. Maybe, but yeah. So I could see the resemblance, but still.
This really big dragon, which I would have loved to see in the game. Some of these pets were actually added, such as this, which was called Coral Queen. And because of how good all these pets look, I can see why. Prodigy almost...
Okay. This should be all the footage for scrapped pets. Now, the reason why I couldn't, show them off myself is mainly because there are no old versions of Prodigy that are playable that have scrapped pets. Not just that, but I don't even know where to find the concept art for these cut pets. But yeah, the rest of this video is going to be original footage because these are these cut islands I'm about to show off. So this is original footage since there are builds with every island that was scrapped. Now I'm going to start off on the most known islands, and then the last one's going to be the least known island that was scrapped. But let's get started. The first island is Dino Dig Oasis. Now, Dino Dig Oasis did not technically get scrapped, but here's the thing. For those of y'all that don't know, Dino Dig Oasis used to have quests. Now, yeah, Dino Dig Oasis is still in the game. To this day, it's still in the game. But the thing is, Dino Dig Oasis used to have like these quests you could do. Now it's pretty much nowadays it's pretty much a shop now. But back then, Professor Scoob used to be a warden and not a merchant. Because in modern Prodigy, he's pretty much a merchant now. But yeah, back then you could do like quest in Dino Dig Oasis. I mean, it is very upsetting that they ended up scrapping this because, this had a lot of potential. So it is very upsetting they had to cut this. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll get the point. Now, I'm about to show off the next island. The next island should be familiar to most new players. The next island that we're going to talk about is Harmony Island. Now, I do gotta make a quick disclaimer. Since this is a build of the game, this isn't really the original version that had Harmony Island. Because this is one of the Dayboss coding projects. The area is incomplete, so I can't do battles. But normally you would be able to do battles. But yeah, I'm about to show off. I'm about to show off the part of Harmony Island that you can play. The part of the island that you can walk through. Here it is. But I'm about to show you why I can't play through this area. Because for some reason, in the Day Boss coding projects, when you try to go here, normally there's supposed to be like this pop-up that, appears like when you go right to Harmony Island, where it would normally teleport you to the Ancient, but for some odd reason, there's this glitch where you can't even enter that area because you're supposed to get your first ruin. And you can't even enter the ruin run right now in this build. Because this build is incomplete. See? But yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find some footage real quick on YouTube of what the rune runs look like, and I'll be right back. Here's what rune runs basically look like. I'm pretty sure y'all get the idea. But yeah, now for the next island. The Epic Subspace. This was an island that got deleted back in like 2023, I think. But normally what you would do is you would go here, and you would normally go in here to battle with an epic. Let's see. Oh, actually I want to battle with this other epic. Let's see. But yeah, I want to battle with Eclipse. Oh, dang it. Not mean to hit that. There we go. But you would go into this area, right? You would get like boosts. And you would use your epic to battle monsters. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll get the idea. But yeah, that's normally what you would do. This next area isn't necessarily a scrapped island, but more like an expansion of a scrapped island. The Epic Hub Worlds. So for those of y'all that don't know about this, back then, before the Dragon Epics came out, the heroic epics had their own unique hub worlds. Now, when the Epic Dragons came out, for some reason, they ended up scrapping this. But each epic used to have like their own little hub world. Next is remove sound effects. Now I am aware there are more lost islands that I haven't named off, but I'm gonna real quick, while I'm in the middle of the video, I want to talk about scrapped sound effects. The first thing I want to show off is the scrapped sound effects for when an epic uses an epic attack. So for those of y'all that don't know, when you would go into a battle, let me turn this down real quick. When you would go into a battle back then, the epics used to have a unique sound it would make when they would attack. So let's show it off real quick. So we're gonna use. So there are also the dragon epics in here, but I want to use daviday since Titus. It doesn't make that noise when you use Titus. So that is the scrap sound effect for when epics attack. So the next part of this is talking about more scrapped islands. Let's see. So the next next cut island was the Lost Island. So the Lost Island was like a prequel to Tower Town, which I'm pretty sure everyone knows by now. Tower Town is the worst island in the game. But basically in the Lost Island, you would go to the float lane over here. And normally he would give you a quest to do. Like he wants me to hunt this tree right here. Like I cannot pronounce this guy's name. But yeah, it's like the pre-evolution to Vine Queen. But yeah, he wants me to hunt that guy. So normally you would accept the quest, and you would normally hunt for the monster that the float lane wants you to hunt for normally. And there's one of them right there. And it says I have to hunt for about, let's see. I have to hunt down 6 of these guys. But we're not going to do that right now. So the next scrapped island that I'm about to mention, I'm trying to make sure I mentioned all of them. Now, real quick, I do want to make a disclaimer. I'm not going to mention old versions of islands. I am aware that places like Firefly Forest used to look different, and Lamplight Town, but I'm not going to let that count, since those are areas that are still in the game. Yes, they have been updated, but they're still technically in the game, so I'm not going to mention them. I'm also not going to mention Barnacle Cove, so I'm pretty sure we all know about Barnacle Cove. And that's not technically a cut island, since that island would later evolve into Shipwreck. But yeah, now for the next island. The next area is the Colosseum. So before Harmony Island came out, there was this area called the Colosseum. Normally, you would do battles, and I've already done all the battles here, so I can't really do any more battles. But normally you would go here, and you would battle monsters and earn rewards for doing it. The next island is the Harmony Island Arena. Now, I do want to make a disclaimer. I'm going to have to look up a YouTube video, because there's no playable versions of Prodigy with the Harmony Island Arena playable. So yeah, I'm going to have to look up footage on YouTube for this one. Be right back. Okay, here we go. So normally, this was similar to Harmony Island, where you would equip ruins, and you would go into these battles with these monsters. And those are the ruins you would normally equip. And you would pick some really good pets. Normally the pets I would choose would be Small Dash and Luminex, because fire is, the strongest element in the game back then was fire. Before physical type was even added, fire type were the strongest. And I would usually bring in a storm type to encounter it. I would normally bring in Luminex, but I would sometimes bring in Predraxis. I just preferred Luminex a lot better. But yeah, that's pretty much the Harmony Island Arena. I almost forgot about the arenas, but those do technically count as scrapped islands, since you can't play through either arena in the latest version of Prodigy. But yeah, now for the next island. The next island is Clockwork Town. But yeah, here we go. So this was another area that ended up getting scrapped. Now normally what you would do in this area is you would click on Boombox. Normally he would give you a quest. I accidentally hit no on accident. There we go. But normally you would go into these battles with these monsters. I forgot to switch my Articlaw. But yeah, you would go into these battles. Let me see. There we go. And you would battle monsters to earn rewards. But I'm pretty sure y'all understand what Clockwork Town was. Next is the Prodigy prototype. So for those of y'all that don't know, there was a Prodigy prototype that was made. And there is footage of this prototype online. Now this build I'm about to show dates back to 2014. So I'm going to give y'all a quick history lesson on Prodigy. So when Prodigy was first released in 2011, it was only released to private schools in Canada. Meaning only some people got to experience this prototype. The game did not get fully released to it did not get fully released to the public until 2015. Now I'm gonna have to show y'all a YouTube video of this build, and that's because this build hasn't been properly archived. There are websites that claim to have this build, but the build isn't playable, because I did try to play it, but it takes you to this page, this error 404 page. It's meaning you don't even get to really play it. Now, maybe in the future, this build will be properly archived. But until then, the only footage we have for this is footage on YouTube. Here we go. I'm pretty sure y'all noticed that. How your pets basically follow you. Not just that, but the fact that your pets even had shadows under them back then. In case y'all didn't know, in the final game, the pets didn't really have shadows under them. Now, of course, the redesigns did. But for some reason, the old designs didn't. But you'll notice that the pets back then, before they got redesigned, like back in the Project Prototype, they still used their old designs. And here's the early map. For those of y'all that didn't know what it looked like. I'm assuming this was at a point where the wardens weren't even added yet. Even this area looks so different. What's that guy? Oh, there's a Muckster. But yeah. Now, it would be cool in the future to see this build get properly archived. It would definitely be cool. But there's lots of cut content, like your pets being able to follow you being able to hatch pet eggs, and all kinds of stuff. But this build does look pretty cool. I'm going to fast forward into the video. There we are. Even the houses look way better. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, back then how you would heal yourself is you would go into the bed in your house. You would usually use your bed to heal, because this is before heal stones were added. And I'm assuming this was also before Newt was added. So you couldn't just go to Newt to heal or find a heal stone. Back then you would basically go to your bed, and that would normally be how you healed. That'd normally be how you would heal yourself. This kind of reminds me of a Flash game a little bit. Like the graphics in this early build of the game kind of reminds me of like a Flash game. Credit to these guys for posting this footage online, or for archiving these early builds of the game. First, let's start off with the YouTubers. Since the camera's blurry, here's a better picture of the username. The next YouTuber I used footage from for this video is right here. His name right here. Gotta give credit where credit's due. Now next is credit to the people who archived these early builds of the game, the builds that I was able to actually play for this video. I couldn't find the credits for the people who archived this, but here are the names I was able to find that were tied to these builds. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'll see y'all in the next video. If I forgot any cut content from Prodigy, please leave a comment letting me know what I forgot. And if I get enough comments telling me stuff that I forgot, then I will make a part 2. And I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like it if y'all like the video if y'all enjoyed it, and dislike it if y'all don't like it. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.